Welcome, Simsbury community fans, to show number 3 of our series, Inside Trojan Football, where we provide the Sctv viewers with a closer look at Simsbury High School football program throughout the season. We are at the halfway point of the 2019 season, 5 games in as we sit here right now on October 15th. This is our 9th year of coverage of Simsbury football, bringing you the Friday Night Lights Trojan home games here on Sctv. I'm Roger Coombes, and with me once again is Coach Dave Masters. Dave, thanks for coming out again.
You bet.
And let's have some fun.
All right, Raj. Let's go.
Awesome. So, folks, we are halfway through the season right now. We're 5-0 as we sit here today. First time since 2009, the team is just playing lights out. We've got 3 video clips that we're going to talk to. Last time we were here, folks, we watched video of the first 2 games, the Amity game at home and the first game against Hall.
Yep.
And now Coach Masters is going to bring us through 3 games, South Windsor, New Britain, and Connard.
Yep.
And
brings us up to 5. Yep.
That'll be really nice. So what we'll do is we'll dress up the game a little bit. Now, Coach Masters and the team traveled to South Windsor on September 27th to play the Bobcats on a 10 o'clock Saturday morning start, which was a little unusual. Yeah. Maybe a little Triple E, maybe a little
it wasn't.
something.
It didn't have anything to do with Triple E. It's a light. They don't have lights on their field, so that was out long before the Triple E concern.
I see.
But it did turn out in a funny way because a lot of teams did reschedule for that Saturday. But for us, it had nothing to do with that. It had to, it was planned long before then because they don't have lights. And so you either can do the game at 3:30 in the afternoon or you got to go to the next day.
I see. Yeah. And it was an early start for you guys. Didn't look like it bothered the squad too much. No. 39-0, folks. The Trojans put a pretty good beat down on South Windsor for win number 3.
Yeah, that was 3rd. Yep, that was good. Defense played again, lights out, and the morning didn't really affect us. Like, every Saturday morning we're in at 8 o'clock in the morning anyway. It's just how we do things, whether to lift or film. So didn't really feel that much different. Get on a bus and go over there. I kind of liked it, to be honest with you, a little change of pace, but it certainly didn't mess with anything that we were trying to do.
Good.
In terms of timing wise and stuff. It was a little weird playing in the morning.
I bet.
It worked out all right.
Sure did. 39-0. So, folks, sit back and relax. We're going to watch some video. Coach Masters is going to take us through the video. Want to give a shout out to John Helmkamp. He does the videography. He cuts it. He puts it into a nice snapshot. Yeah. And Dave, he sends it to you.
Every week we get a clip. This is different level stuff. Like we get, and it's great for a high school program to have this stuff. Number one, it's great for the kids to see themselves. You put it to music. It's a great. They're going to have it the rest of their lives. Show their kids, for God's sakes. For sure. So we have that, and then. It's good for colleges to look at too, a different way, and it's great for the football community. It's good program builder. Everyone loves those clips are great.
Yeah, clips are great, and we'll talk more about maybe one of the shows, David. We have more time about Huddle, and that's the video program you guys use, and it's required that the games go out to the opponent within, I think Rocco
24 hours.
Said 24 hours. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, we can talk about that. That is a good fact.
That is, and Rocco's a great guy. I meet him every night, and John Helmkamp again provides us with these video clips, highlights for you to watch now, and we're going to get to them now, and Coach Masters will bring us through South Windsor.
There you go.
Here we go, guys.
All right, so this is just creating some space. We're creating it to get, this is a kid who is a junior for us, Sean Carr. The thing I love about this clip is that's one of the first balls he's caught all season, and he's aggressive on his finish. That's what we're trying to preach here. Here's Zach Gilbert getting a screen. Our screens have been really good this year, fighting for the end zone and finishing. Gavin Butler diving on what he thought was a loose ball. It's always good to see those linemen. They're trying to get those points.
What he hoped was a loose ball.
Yeah, he was trying to get those points any way he can. And this is a good example of dominant defense. Running to the ball, flying around. Here's going to be Gaffney, and this kid's pretty fast, and you're going to see some clips of him coming up. That's a 4.5 kid, and he's hard to catch. So running through, we were able to run, we were able to pass in this game, and our screen game was really good. This is a good inside-out play. Middle linebacker, Mohammed Haroun, coming through, right through the middle of the defense and making a play. You got Aiden again. This is going to be another screen to Zach. Making some guys miss, bursting through the middle.
Wow.
He let this guy catch him, though. We didn't like that.
Oh.
So we benched him after. I'm just kidding. We didn't do that. Now, here's a luxury. You have a kicker kick, and then he's the guy that runs down and makes a play because he's, in fact, one of our best linemen as well. Oh, that was Mohammed. Best linebackers. So when you can have your best linebackers on, a special teams, that's something
Colin
special
Crow.
too. Yep. Now here's a sophomore, John Myrano, and you're going to see him do this in last week's game versus Connard. But that's just his explosion through the line is great.
He's
and
only
he
a
just
sophomore.
takes off. He's just a sophomore, all-state wrestler, by the way, and another.
Right. Yep.
So here's Aiden. We have a lot of clips on him, but he runs the same
Aiden
way.
Beauchain's the quarterback, junior.
He runs all the same hard, aggressive downhill. We were really able to do a lot of different things on this. This is creating space, giving himself some time, and
wide open.
Rory Walker finding a hole in the defense and then trying to finish there. And I'm sure we're going to have another. They run a little different offense. South Windsor, they're all run, and so we geared up all week for run defense. This is Evan Wallace. Who's our backup Q. Again, same thing, future's bright because he's aggressive, running downhill.
What year is he, junior?
He's a sophomore.
He's a sophomore. Yep. That's good, Dave. So what was nice is you were able to get some players in the game with that lead who might not typically play.
Correct, yeah. That allows us to do some of those things for sure. So, we're when we can do that kind of stuff, that's really an advantage for us to take care of and try and work through all that stuff.
That's nice. That's a nice luxury to have.
Yeah, I mean, we got a roster that's pretty deep. We do have some kids and, we do have some seniors, but we also have a lot of our starters are young and we'll be following up through the program. And so when you can get them in this year and get them that experience,
that's huge.
That's a big deal. Any chance you can. And, you can't, you don't want to put a kid in before he's ready because it's a confidence thing. So, but if you can find places to put him in and
sure.
insert him into the game, then that's what you want to do.
Maybe put him in a place to have some success.
Right. You want to have him have success. You don't want to be thrown into a game and then go the other direction before you're ready. So.
Nice luxury. So, Dave, that's an interesting look looking at that video during the day. It's different playing at night versus
you can see
daytime.
Well, you can see the video better for sure.
How about on the field? Do you have any preference? Anything different on that?
No, I don't. I mean, there's something special about a Friday night football game.
Yeah.
You don't. But when in a day game, you don't get to see the stands. You don't get to see, or in a night game, you don't get to see the stands, and you don't get to pick up on some of the other things.
Sure.
Like in a night game, you're just walking out there. Whatever's in front of you is in front of you, and you're kind of going for it. So it was that kind of different perspective.
Cool.
Yeah, it was pretty neat.
That's cool.
I didn't have any problems with it, that's for sure.
No, that's for sure. 39-0 through the shutout, Coach Masty. So now we move to New Britain on October 4th, and hard-hitting Hurricanes come to town. Always a tough game.
Yeah. Well, you never know what you're going to get. And like I said, for the last 3 years, we in 2016 we won, 2017 we beat New Britain. It's usually around homecoming, either theirs or ours.
Yep.
And then last year we ended up losing to New Britain. That was probably the one game last year that really felt like we got pushed around a little bit and physically didn't match. So we were looking to answer that a little bit this year. We liked the fact that it was homecoming. Kids were amped up. They were a big team. We knew it would be physical, and we tried to get there and battle quickly and be aggressive quickly and see if we could go toe to toe, and we did because we had some adversity. We had to. Our defense has not given up many points this year. That's the team that scored the most on us so far with 22, and it was on 3 big plays. Really, it was 3 big runs that kind of we had to come back from, and we were able to do that because our offense was clicking and our defense, when they had to, kind of drew the line in the sand and dug in a little deeper and was able to, solidify and hold them off when they had to, which was good. And I think that's another good way for us to win too. Don't get me wrong. It's nice not having teams score on you. I mean, that's a nice feeling as a coach when your defense isn't. We haven't allowed a passing touchdown yet so far this year, which is nice.
That is interesting.
And so it is good. And we've only given up 38 points through those these first 5 games. So, we scored 162. So that's a lopsided number right now. And it's a nice luxury to have, and it feels good to have that. But, it's good to have to, like a game like New Britain where we had to battle back from some scores. It wasn't, we weren't so far ahead where we had to, we were able to get guys, and we had to battle that whole game, which was good. Yeah.
Sure. There was 1 touchdown in the first quarter. Then there were 5 touchdowns in the second quarter, 3 Simsbury, 2 New Britain. And then the third quarter, just a New Britain touchdown, tightened things up to 26-22 at the end of 3. Yeah. So it tightened up a little, Coach. And then in the fourth quarter, it really could have gone either way. Defense had a great stuff down in the about the 8 or 10 for them. And then you guys brought it back and put a touchdown on the board, and that was the 33-22 lead.
But I think the offense fed off the defense, the momentum created by the defense. So, we get that big shutout. Okay, it's our job now. We got to go down and put this game away if we can. Let's go get it. And so they had that mentality, and they went and did it. So it was nice.
That was a fun weekend. Like you said, it was our homecoming. It was the Hall of Fame golf fundraiser, the Trojans Hall of Fame, and then the dance that night.
Yep,
and I think the kids even took SATs. Some of your younger guys' SATs were Saturday. So it was just
it was a big weekend.
It was a big weekend.
And it always seems to fall around that New Britain. It's it always is a big event. A process for the whole weekend. So that was good.
That's nice. And New Britain came in, I think, 2-2, and they left 2-3. And now Coach Masters will take us through the 33-22 win on October 4th at Simsbury against hard-hitting New Britain. All right, we're ready to roll.
All right, so the kickoff here was a little bit fun here. So here's our kid with 4.5 speed again, and well, there you go.
Gaffney.
Raj and I, we don't have that speed.
No, all right. Only when they open up the keg.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I threw my back out. So this is our defense, and those are 2 inside linebackers. They work in they're together all the time. Their steps are the same. Look at the stands, Raj. It's great. That's good stuff right there. Danny Sohn, he's really
workhorse.
Yeah, he's leading he's looking for contact there, and that's how you finish. And people don't want to tackle guys like that, so that's how we try and teach it. There's another screen to 4-5. Brendan Gaffney hits the edge and goes. I love the slow-mo.
Look at that Helmer.
So he's got that speed, and if we can get him to the edge, we worked him a lot in this game. He had a good game. Here's a nice ball to Gilbert. Now there's a kid, number 14, Zach Gilbert, who's really come on these past few games. He's made some great catches.
There he is in motion. Good look.
The past game with Connard, it was just phenomenal with him. He had some great balls.
He's got great hands.
There's Aiden doing Aiden stuff, looking for contact as a quarterback, which isn't your best way to stay healthy, but he's looking for it and is aggressive, and that gets him into the end zone. There's the line down to greet him, and that's one of my favorite pieces. They're all excited for each other to score. A little dump off here to Coleman. He forgot his other sleeve there, but and he's running, stop, little hesitate, try and make something happen. I love the way
he waited for Gilly to come up. Got an extra 10 yards.
Got a couple extra yards there. Here we have, what is this? Oh, I know what this is. He's just, a determined runner. Another example of him not, you're not keeping him out, you know what I mean? So defense making some good adjustments, battling through here. I'm sure that we're going to get a little dump here, and then Guilfoyle's right there to finish it.
Wow, Tommy G.
Yeah, he's playing, I think he had 19 tackles this game against New Britain. He's all over the place. That's our kicker making the play.
Colin Crow
and DeAndre finishing him off there. Here we have Danny again with a little breakaway here.
D-So, I call him.
Now
he's
still going to try and
Stiff
finish
arm
it.
and pound.
He's always going to try and finish the run aggressively. I'm sure we're going to have the same thing.
Look at this.
He had a lot of yards this game. I forget the number, but he's not going down easy. And then that guy,
Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, number 6 is a lot bigger than him, but he's just a lot of fight. He's always going to continue to run. Forward and aggressive. He's got good feet.
Dave, that's a nice play right there.
Mm-hmm. And even at the end, pops back up. He's pumped up. And then Caden, who's been pretty consistent on the year, he's still working through a lot of things, but he's really developing as a kicker, which is good. This is really a great play here. These kind of plays help seal the deal and keep you ahead. So if they do get the ball back and it's a close game, obviously picking the ball up and getting an extra possession really helps. You know what I mean? Helps us get back and carry that momentum. This is towards the end of the game where we had to finish things off. Ryan Guilfoyle, we say Tommy's name a lot, but that's a big play. Gives it 4th down, really puts him out of contention for going down to score, which really helps us seal the game. All right, so he's pretty pumped up right there.
Yeah,
there's the brothers.
Yeah.
The brothers. And so, there you get the result, but it's a combination of stuff. You saw in those clips a lot of special teams. You saw a lot of special teams effort. You saw a lot of offense going the way, but it's all aggressive. What we're doing a good job of right now is playing downhill and attacking in all phases.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the key. And I think that's, you have that mentality, you play with that confidence, you play with that aggression, and you can wear teams down. And that's kind of what our message to the team is every week. Play aggressive every snap, 100%, and see what happens.
Yep. And Coach, you mentioned the two things you were like following my script perfectly. You talk about that O-line, blasting some big holes, moving people around. I have a lot of admiration for your snapper, Gavin Butler. That's not a tough job.
Yep.
I mean, that's not an easy job. That's tough snapping that into shotgun. So your O-line blast away, and then on that INT, that interception, Gaff kind of got a little freebie there, I felt, because the defense had pressured that quarterback.
Yeah, well,
so your D-line and O-line, they don't get a lot of shout-outs.
No, but really, that's when you really want to talk about football and because none of that other stuff happens if they're not doing their job. And you're right, they don't score touchdowns and they don't get a lot of the perks, but what coaches see is what really drives the machine here. And what it is that O&D line, particularly any chance that you can get to open up some big holes. Obviously, they're able to go through it. You're not running anywhere if there's no holes created. So you're not be able to pass and throw the ball if they're letting everyone run through. So you've got to dig deep. And they face some big lines, some aggressive lines. South Windsor was a big line. New Britain was a big line. And the same thing on both sides. Defensive line, particularly playing really aggressive, making a lot of plays. I don't know how many sacks we have this year, but about 3 or 4 times the amount last year. I think we had maybe 4 sacks last year, whereas this year we had that in one game at one point. So they're making plays. They're freeing up the linebackers to do their job. They're pressuring the quarterback, makes the secondary's job, the cornerbacks and the safeties able to run around and make plays. So those things are working on and hitting on all cylinders at this point.
That was nice, real nice, and it's nice to have you mention how a coach sees those lines versus the average spectator who looks at the skill players. And if without that offensive, defensive line, I like the way you said those other things just aren't going to happen.
Yeah, they don't come into play.
Yep.
And when we've struggled in the past, we've had some inefficient and we haven't been able to get that engine going.
Sure.
And we've struggled there for one reason or the other. So when you can get that clicking on all cylinders, that's good. Jeff Wilkins, who was a lineman for me when I was a line coach here, is now in charge of our linemen for the offense, and Coach Nick Malqui, is in charge of the defense. And that's another thing. We really have 2 separate units coached by 2 separate coaches, individually coached all the time. And so that helps too. We're lucky in the respect that we have so many coaches because they can take the time and develop those things where, it's not one coach doing 5 different jobs.
Sure.
So that's another, it's really, a bonus. And Jeff and Nick, they really do a good job of, besides the football pieces, connecting to their group and connecting, all the time with that group, special events, going out to dinner. They have their different stickers, blah, blah, blah.
And they're young guys, Jeff and Nick. And I think
guys.
they relate, and the players relate to that.
That's always good. Yep, it's always good. And I always felt like that's a good way, because they work hard and they push them hard. So you have to have that other connection too, You can't get kids to do things for you if you don't like, them as a person. So they do a really good job of all that. As a matter of fact, all the coaches do.
Right.
You know what I mean? I really feel blessed to have the staff that we do because of what they give, not just the football, but all the extra time and the extra care. You really got to care for your kids, and they really do. You can say that, and I think a lot of coaches do say that, but I got a staff that really means it.
Yep.
And I think that shows.
Yep, and we talked about that in the first episode of Inside Trojan Football, and this year I've really grown to love the football program because I've learned a lot through these Inside Trojan shows. Is just so much to the program, and it really is a family. And I love seeing the players who come back to coach who wore the blue and gold.
Great, isn't it?
Because
Yeah.
I'm all about the Trojan blue and gold.
Yeah.
Well,
It is
good,
nice.
Coach. That's fantastic. So now we move on to Game 5 last Friday, October 11th. Across the bump comes the Connard Chieftains. Always a good team, well coached.
Well coached, yep.
Well coached. They came into the game on Friday Night Frenzy. It was the Fox 61 Game of the Week. Friday Night Frenzy.
Possibly the worst interview I've ever given on TV.
You didn't like it?
I had something.
It almost like you got beat. You almost like you had
couldn't-
lost.
Well, it was funny, and I'll tell the quick story. I was standing in the middle of the field, and I turned around. My family was there because of we had a special situation that night for me, and so I had just gotten some news, and something was happening. I turned around. There's a camera in my face. And he asked a question, Raj, and I don't know what the question was.
You don't?
I didn't know I could start redoing it. So it was kind of a mess. And it gave us something to laugh at, and as a coaching staff.
Oh, that was
I always
great.
like try to provide a little
A
entertainment.
little comedy at your expense?
Yeah, whatever it takes.
You got about 5 minutes of airtime, Dave. The whole
Yeah, it was nice.
it was
It was nice.
unbelievable.
You know, everything was good except for that.
Yeah, I didn't look at it like that. I'll have to watch it again.
Okay,
I saved it.
Oh, really break it down, Roger.
I did. John, we might need to get that video on here next show. So yes, Coach Masters, as humble as he is, was celebrating a birthday that night. And there were a lot of 5s and 0s and 0s and 5s going around. I talked to Dave Herschel. I was riding him like a rented mule that day to come to the game because I told him it was a great storyline, but what do I know? We had won our last 5 games of the season last year after going 0-5. There's a lot of 5s and 0s. We have a chance to go 5-0 this season and 10-0 the last 10 games.
Yeah.
And
Last loss was to Connard.
the last loss is Connard right before the bye week last year.
Yep.
And somebody turned 5-0.
I don't know who that
Some
was.
good-looking guy right here. He doesn't look a day over 39, this guy. But it was an interesting game. No score in the first quarter, kind of tight. And then we put up 2 TDs in the second to go into the halftime locker room, 12-zip. And then we got 2 more in the fourth to win 32-0. Another goose egg, Coach Masty.
Pretty good. Yeah, that's really pretty good. Now, that's a passing team, and they're well coached, like you said, and it did take some time for us to figure out where to attack, how to attack. Defense kept us in it, shut them out till Coach Moose, Coach Mayusier got it figured out, and to figure out how we were going to attack it, and we did. And we got those 2, missed a couple extra points, the PATs, but we kept putting the pressure on to build that up, and we did a good job with that. But that's a well-coached team. They're always prepared, and they gave us a little bit to think about at the beginning. But that defense that we have, that's a passing team, and we gave up no points and I think 34 yards of passing. To a team that passes.
Wow.
And traditionally, and has been doing that so far this year. So that's a good, solid performance by our defense. Again, starts with the D-line to the linebackers to the secondary. And we had some great catches, some offensive performance by Jeffrey Coleman. Gilbert made some catches in that. Of course, Aiden. And then we had Myrano and Sohn. Myrano had, I think, 3 carries. He scored 4 times. They got called back a lot because of penalties.
2 of them.
Which we're going to clean up. I mean, that's not, we're going to have to be tighter on that. But he had 2 long runs for over 110 yards. I mean, it was crazy.
Sophomore, I don't think he weighs much over 160.
Well, he doesn't. And I know because he's a wrestler. And, and so, but he's tough. You won't find many kids tougher than him, for sure.
I can tell. And he's got wheels.
Oh, yeah.
All right, without further ado, 32-zip, Coach Masters will bring us through the Connard game last Friday, October 4th. Enjoy this one. All right. Let's see what Johnny Homekamp put together for Connor.
Okay, so this is obviously going to be, this is a big tip, huge play by Jeffrey, tips it up like we talk about to Mike Schulitz, who gets that big interception as they're going in to score. That's what I was talking about. There's our middle linebackers creating havoc again. Here's creating space. Look at this. He wheels around just trying to create space and throws a bomb to Jeffrey, who goes up, high points that ball and makes that play. That's a big play down on the sideline. That's impressive catch to hang into that. This is Gilby coming around the corner. Look at the lead blockers out in front, turning and getting the body in the way. This guy borrows this flag right here. That's Gilby's. We're going to be looking for that back. And so we go there. Gilby making a big play. And then that's busting in Danny. Big scream. That's one of my favorite photos from the game, tipping the ball back and getting excited about it. He's just a battler, that kid. He's tough as nails. Here we have good protection. Look at that bomb. I guess so you know who that's going, coming back, high pointing again.
So
looks like a
that.
replay, except for it's on the a little farther in towards the numbers.
Really
but
is.
Another catch. He got the offensive player of the game that day, and here's another reason why. Going up, leaning back really over his head and making that play. That's an unbelievable catch. That puts another 6 on the board and kind of gets the engines moving now. So there's Gaffney with the 4-5, hit it, push that guy down, try and hit it, keeps his leg driving, trying to get in there. All those things are adding up, and there's Tommy Guilfoyle. Yep. Colin in, Mohammed. We got the whole party in there. Yep.
Oh, the Guilfoyles.
Yep.
There's a good look at Ada.
Yeah, being official and professional there. Again, there's Colin Crow getting in it.
He should
like
have
you
never
said,
thrown that
that's
ball.
A stunt, a blitz we made into under pressure, and they
so
throw
Colin
it up.
got a
and
piece
got
of candy there.
Now this fake punt wasn't a fake punt. It was a bad snap.
We weren't sure.
Coach Masters isn't calling fake punts
Haroon.
down when it's on the 5-yard line.
Haroon.
Now I pretended like I called it. Right there, like, oh yeah, but it wasn't the case. No,
the snap was low.
His eyes were giant when he was running. He had and there's
Johnny.
Yep, shredding and going.
Look at him go. He almost got in.
Yep. So he had a couple of those. A couple more sandwiches, and he won't get pushed out of bounds. All right. So we got another play here, and that's to Gilby. There's a play coming up to Gilby where he makes an unbelievable catch. And you'll see that he's been making some great plays.
He's got great
lately.
hands.
Yeah, he really does. This is a great play. And again, we got our defensive line coming. This is Colin again, who had a great game. That's one arm, right? And that's the weight room right there. That's what we call a weight room. Now,
CC.
Yep, he did a great job with that. And the defense swarms, and we know what that means. That's a huge momentum, change of field, forces punts. Those are big deals for our offense. And then here he goes again. All right.
Johnny
Keeps
Marr.
his legs going, high stepping. That's just, athletic ability again.
Look, he wants more.
Oh, sure he does. And the line's down there to help.
There's a flag.
That was a face mask on it. And so that moved it even closer down to
Marcus Williams right there.
down to the end zone. So, Aiden in total control, offense in total control. And here's that catch I was talking about before.
Wow.
You don't see many like that. That's a good one. He wanted to say hi to that guy. And so they're all like, I love when the linemen get down there. That's a big deal to us. And there's the final, obviously. We like it when there's a goose egg up there. It's good for the defense. It's good for the momentum. It's good for a lot of different reasons. It keeps us, that defense, I'm telling you, is giving us good field position. It's forcing punts. It's giving us more possessions. The turnovers that we're creating are up, and the turnovers that we're presenting to the other team are down. So that's all good.
Yeah, and what's really neat is that when you see that goose egg when you run off the field, it's fantastic.
Well, it's good. Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, it's
all
good.
right, so we move along. So now we're 5-0, 10 wins in a row, Coach Masters. It's incredible, and I know we got a lot more work to do. And the next game will be Manchester on the road. This is a bye week, folks, so no game this week. But there's only one common opponent. Manchester's 2-3. The current opponent has lost to New Britain, Manchester 14-6. I think it might have been the third game of the season. And so we really don't have a lot to go on. So you travel to Manchester. Any thoughts on that, Coach?
Well, Manchester is another team that they're a big spread team. They're going to try and throw RPO, run pass option. They're going to look for whatever they can get. Run if it's available, pass if it's there. And they'll take that. They have good receivers. They have really, their defense has improved since last year, I would say. Much more, they're faster, they're flying around. They have a couple good linebackers. So they present some problems for sure. This second half of the season, there's some good teams we're playing. Enfield's much improved. Glastonbury's improved.
Sure.
So there's some, and Southington.
And then we go to Southington. Yep. The game after that, Dave, it's going to be November 1st at Southington. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a big game. They lost to Darien. Mm-hmm. Common opponent was a loss to last year we lost 21-7. Common opponent, Hall, scored 21 on them, and then Connard scored 21 on Southington. Mm-hmm. But you'll be over at their place. It's going to be a huge game.
Well, I think so. We like traveling over there. I mean, it's a unbelievable environment there. They do a good job. And to some degree, one of the things that I've noticed over the years, how they create a culture and an environment over there, and I've tried to model some of what we do after programs like Southington and your Darians and those kind of things, and to model those to create that kind of culture and environment. So, a lot of respect for any Southington particularly who can sustain winning in high school football for that amount of time. That's a lot, and so we have a lot of respect for them. And we're really trying to go out and, get our Manchester taken care of and then get to Southington and see what goes from there.
Right. Can't overlook Manchester.
Oh, no. And no one is. There's no one in our program that is going to do that, because it's just, they present a lot of problems for us.
Definitely. Well, that was great. And again, thanks to John Helmkamp for the video. Coach Masters, great job on that. That wraps up our third edition of Inside Trojan Football here on SCTV. We will continue to broadcast the Trojan football home games this season, bringing you the action on SCTV. Games can be viewed on Channel 95 as well as on demand online at www.simsburytv.org. Well, we wish you all the best, Dave, on the next two games. Health and happiness, and really just a wholehearted congratulations on the first start of this season. And win, lose, or draw, you guys are really creating a lot of excitement here in Simsbury.
That's fun.
A lot of folks are talking about it, and I just really enjoy these shows with you and your excellent analysis. It's been phenomenal.
Thanks, Raj.
All
It's
right.
been a lot of fun.
So as we always end, I like to end is Go Trojan and Trojan Pride. Thanks, Coach Master.
Thanks, Luke. Appreciate
Great
it.
job.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.